So yeah, I like FPSs. What can I say? There's nothing like the rush of hunting people down and killing them.
Alright guys, today I'm going to be giving you an in-depth breakdown of how to beat Crota on the new DLC, Crota's End. Crota is the final boss of this entire new raid. First thing, you're going to spawn inside of Crota's Soul Crystals room. In order to start this mission, you need to have everybody in your raid stand next to this crystal, which will spawn Crota and spawn up these invisible walls. The second they disappear, you can just run past all the enemies into the room below you, whichever one you prefer. Shooting could get you more ammo, but also it could spin more ammo. You need to have one person instantly run into the middle and grab this glowing light. It's going to be called a chalice. The chalice is the only way to regenerate health due to being, during this part of the raid specifically, Crota's presence prevents any regening health. Although this can be worked around by certain exploits, including using Red Death and using the Titan Bubble Shield, which makes you regenerate health while inside of it. Once you kill this person, which was called Sword Bearer, he will drop this sword. The sword can be picked up by a level 31 hunter and then brought into the corner I'm going to show you in a second. You need to go to this specific corner in order to turn invisible so that you can wait for the rest of the team to break Crota's shields. The only way to damage Crota is while his shields are broken and the Sword Bearer hits him with a melee. The Sword Bearer is going to want to hit him with the RT, or the heavy attack, as it does the most damage in the least amount of time. If you are able to get a super, that works even better. As you saw just there, we had someone assist the Sword Bearer up to the top corner and put down a bubble, which we used with Weapons of Light in order to increase damage even more. Once the Sword Bearer gets up there and the shields are dropped, Crota will kneel down for a long enough time in order to get 4 melees using RT. You want to try to be up there as early as possible, standing next to him while invisible, which is why you need to have a hunter. If you take too long, you will not be able to kill him before he kills you. When somebody dies, he spawns a giant oracle-like object behind him, about the size of a moon. If you have all 5 people on the team shoot it, you can destroy it, and it will not kill you. But if you fail at destroying that, then the entire team will be wiped. There's no other way to survive this. It only appears though when someone on your team dies or after he has been enraged. When he's enraged, he will constantly spawn those oracle type objects, which will be impossible to beat. That is the major reason why you need a level 31 in order to deal the damage, because being a level 30, the damage reduction or the damage nerf is too great that you can't make up for it no matter how good a player you are. You need to rinse and repeat this for a total of 4 times and maybe a 5th depending on how much damage you're able to output. The first 2 times is the easiest, as he will stay in the middle as long as you are able to pop his shields before he starts walking over to the right. Sword Bearer needs to just do the same thing over and over, and if he dies, it is alright as long as you're able to destroy the giant green object that spawns behind Crota. When Sword Bearer is done shooting, or done smashing Crota, they need to jump towards the middle area and swing with RB in order to get to the bottom area where you spawn to first enter this area when you're doing the song with the wizard. We keep one person outside of that area in order to make sure all the enemies keep aggroing and keep spawning, because we have had one time where he spawned nothing and just went enraged and we had no way to beat him. After you smash him 2 times with the sword, he will then spawn 2 ogres, one from each corner that you just saw me enter. One from that corner I entered and one from the opposite side. The ogres will kill you if you try to fight them head on, so the only way that we find effective to fight them is to go into that back middle room all the way into the back and take them out with snipers. If you take your time and hit one at a time, you should be able to wipe them relatively easily. But if you get hit, you will go down. You cannot stand for more than a second inside their eye beams. They do get stunned after about 2 to 3 sniper shots inside their critical, which is their entire face. You need to stick close to these corners so that you can constantly pop in and out in order to get cover. Once the ogres are killed, it's business as normal. One person needs to head outwards in order to start aggroing everything in order to make sure everybody is still spawning, while everyone else still sits back in the middle waiting. Nothing can really be done about this, as the only way to damage Crota is using the sword, which drops from the sword bearer. On the third time the sword bearer comes out, Crota will move to the right. He'll stick in the middle for a while, but eventually he will get to the right. You will not be able to down him quick enough in the middle, so set up in order to kill him in the right area. He has 3 spots he can be in: right, middle, or left, but it is all exactly timed. None of it is randomized, so this can be easily planned for. As you see right now, sometimes the sword bearer needs a little bit of persuasion in order to come towards you. Now I'll show you how to jump up towards the right and left sides. What you want to do is have the hunter jump into this corner on the very tip where it's highest, go invisible, and then jump up here. That jump is possible as long as you have your spec to do the highest jump available for a hunter blade dancer. If you're having trouble with that, you can just run to the stairwell, go invisible, and stand behind Crota that way. It will just take slightly longer and won't make much of a difference. And as always, once the sword bearer finishes fighting Crota, they will jump back into this middle room where it's safe. As long as you have a good team that can deal with this giant green spear, it is worth it to have him stay out as long as he can to get the melees, even if it means him dying. This time, after we kill Sword Bearer, he will go to the left side. This is not preventable, and you just have to be prepared for it. Just like we did on the right side, you can either jump up onto that little pillar after going to the far corner on the highest part of the hill, or you can go to the stairwell. Keep in mind, the Sword Bearer needs to be a level 31. 30 will not do enough damage no matter what you try. 2 Gallethorn shots and just a few extra bullets will easily destroy Crota's shields. As you can see, we did not deal enough damage in the first 4 tries, so now he has just a tiny bit left. If you get it like this, it is okay, and you can still beat this, but Crota will become enraged before you can beat him. I'll get back to that in a little bit later. Normally Crota will spawn 2 more ogres during this time period. He normally summons them after every 2 swipes with the sword. 2 goes with the sword. Once again, everybody backs into the farthest room and takes out their snipers. Heavy ammo also works great on them. Focus fire on one first to deal with one at a time, and then deal with the second. As you can see, Crota just is beginning to get enraged. When he is enraged, it is nearly impossible to survive. The only way to get out of it is to kill Crota. What you need to do is grab the sword bearer as soon as possible and get him over to your sword carrier, or the designated level 31 hunter who you decided will have the sword permanently. He will be in the right side spawn this time once again. Once you're able to get the sword bearer over to your rest of the team, they need to quickly kill him, and the sword guy needs to quickly grab it and get to the top. As you can see, he's enraged now. Crota will begin spawning these spheres every 15 seconds about, and he will not stop until you die, or he is dead. So what you need to do is try to destroy them while you can, but the most important thing is to get Crota's shield down so the sword bearer can start dealing damage. As you can see, everyone's going to stop shooting and ignore this next sphere altogether in order to get Crota's shields dropped and killed. Once Crota's shields are down, you will be rewarded with items from energy and shards, emblems, shaders, and weapons, and raid gear. And this is how you beat the raid. Thanks for watching here on Impatient Gamers channel. Come back for more tips and tricks on Destiny.